So as you can hear in the background, the teachers are chanting they want a livable wage. I'm 100% with the teachers on this one. It's really disgraceful where teachers have to be crying out the way they are for a livable wage in 2023 when the same politicians are, awarding themselves huge pay increases, and then you have the finance minister sitting up there barefaced and telling people it's a compensation restructuring. I can't get over that comment, bro. Really can't. Oh man, seriously? Compensation restructuring is not a pay increase? Seriously, bro? Anyway, I took a break for a while and I'm back. But yeah, the one thing I want to basically, jump into is that teachers need to step it up a notch, I think. This is not a criticism on teachers. As I said in the beginning, I am with the teachers on this one. I support them 150,000%. But the government can ignore you when you're segregated, and then they can marginalize you and ignore you. Divided you fall. And you might say, why are you saying that? What fly up in your head for say something like that? See the teacher them I do the best, then can I out there criticize them and I tear down them thing? No. The reason why I'm saying that is because a similar situation happened in the UK about 4 months ago, back in February, where teachers, nurses, firemen, train drivers, cleaners and bus drivers, and basically anybody that was in the civil service who had a gripe or a complaint, all came together. They amalgamated their efforts, they aggregated all their unions together, and that which was key, and they successfully protest and got what they wanted. Now, this is a situation where the teachers, the nurses and the firemen in Jamaica need to take a leaf out of these people's book, because if you remember, that lone fireman who climbed the building and did a one-man protest, is arguable, you could say, that he garnered more attention in the media than the nurses and the teachers' protests combined. And that was one person, one man. Now, it's obvious that there was some serious situations that he had to address. He mentioned family time shifts, he mentioned equipment, he also mentioned the fact that there's a serious health hazard which nobody in the media I see picked up on. Cancerous is the word the man used. Cancer causing elements or residue that's on his suit, his fireman suit, and he can't wash it along with his family's laundry, otherwise that will get on their laundry. Now, to me, if that's not something to sue the government for, I don't know what is. Someone don't have to catch cancer. Okay, if you catch cancer, you don't know if that was me. I'm suing the backside off of the government. I'm going to tell you. Remember me tell you that. Will I sue the backside off of the government? No, that's just me. Now, as far as this fireman is concerned, just the fact that his suit has cancer-causing residues on it from fighting the fire and the charcoal and all the different fumes and shit that builds up on it, and there is no adequate facilities or way for them to clean their suit, not just safely for the environment, but safely in terms of their health, then that in itself, isn't there no law around that in Jamaica that says, if this and this and that for this cancer highly toxic thing, if it exists, somebody is to be held accountable for it, somebody get fined, somebody lose them job, somebody get sued. How does that work? I don't understand it. It's the same way you see the same government that try to get rid of the Integrity Commission. And you think me forget about that? Yeah, the last way them me do. Yeah, I don't forget about that. Me saw them I tried do, and I knew it. Any government, whether PNP or JLP, I don't care. Any government that's trying to get rid of an Integrity Commission, which is supposed to be an independent body that investigate corruption within politics, and you're trying your best using strategies like you play chess to get rid of the Integrity Commission, then that to me is a signal, in my opinion, that's a signal that your government is corrupt, because a clean, upstanding, prudent and forthright government don't mind the probes, don't mind the investigations. You know why? Because them now have nothing to hide. But you see, if you know, say, boy, them people are dig deep enough, they might find something on this one and that one and the other one. So boy, we have got to find a way to strategize, to discredit the commission and get rid of them. So it's the same thing with the firemen. How can this lone fireman did what he did, and I'm sure he's exhausted every channel he could, in order to get these concerns addressed. But what was he rewarded with? With a suspension. That to me is negligence. Because if me get my lawyer, the first thing I say to my lawyer, you don't know, say, that's negligence on many levels. Because negligence to allow that to happen, and you still have to work in those type of conditions, and negligence because, and gross negligence because you brought it to the awareness of the management, and they chose to ignore it and instead punish you for speaking out for your own health, your own health risk. This is something that can kill you. Cancer is no joke thing. That's what I mean. The last time I checked, there's no cure for flipping cancer. You understand? So me not understand how them now take it seriously. If I was those firemen, what if the one of them walk out and resign? What gonna happen then? Because let's face it, even though if I was a fireman and me sign up for save lives and protect the community and protect my country, but the government and the management system are play office politics and I want to address that the health hazard there, brother, me give in my resignation fast and quick because my life worth more than that. Sorry. And if every fireman thought like that, Jamaica would be in a problem. Me not encouraging a fireman to go resign and leave the country vulnerable. But think about it. People got their families, bro. And if you're not going to help the firemen and sort out their situation, why should they risk their life? If you're not willing to give them the protection they need, adequate, simple protection what they need. You understand me? That's number one. He also mentioned the situation with family. Now, if the man not having a family time, that's got to... Or man not go work if him stress out I'm place because him not get to see him family and him kids. That can cause a strain on the marriage or the relationship. And the next thing you know, him broke up with his wife or his family. I know him that the pressure upon him brain. So how am I going to do him job adequately? Come on, brother. It's environmental, it's mental. There's a lot of things at play here. But me don't know, the government as usual take people for idiot. That's that. Then you have the nurses. The nurses in Jamaica strike. I didn't even know there's a nurses strike. But someone told me that many years ago there was an all-island strike in Jamaica. And that was effective far as I understood it. Unless the information I got was wrong. That was obviously before my time. But here we have teachers now striking. They go in front of these government buildings and they strike. You're lucky if 50 of them out there protest with placards. The amount of support I say publicly is minimal. Everybody just a drive past and go about them business. The sort of media coverage is minimal in terms of, there's so many Jamaican bloggers and vloggers all over Jamaica, but when the teacher them are strike, where them there, only a few of them come out. The rest of them can't bother come out in the sun hot, but yet still them with the teachers. If I was living in Jamaica, I would be out there with the teachers every day. If the teacher them are protest out there every day, I'm out there every day with them. It's that simple. And I said it strongly because my mother was a nurse. Yeah, my mother was a midwife. So the area that she worked in, she must have delivered well over hundreds and hundreds of babies, even thousands of babies over the years, decades that she served that particular community. I'm not going to say which one it is. I understand the sacrifice they make, the long hours and the long shift, where she have to come home and sleep in her nurse uniform. Back in those days, she had the white hat, the white uniform, the white stocking, the white shoes, white everything from head to toe. You know what I mean? And she wear a little watch on her chest or whatever. And it's one of them situations where we used to see her not even to getting in the rest. She used to come from work and lay down in the bed in the bedroom with her uniform. She just take off her shoes and lean her hat, the little white hat to the side, so it get crushed up. And I used to say, "Mom, change your clothes." She said, "Boy, I don't know if I get an emergency call right now, I have to grab my little bag and go, because if somebody pregnant, by the time you call ambulance, which is a very poorly finance service, the ambulance probably take 2 hours to reach. That now gonna make no sense. The baby now go wait. So she have to go up in the village and the town and the lane and the square and wherever them there, the hill and gully, wherever them there. She have to find herself down there to go deliver baby because baby now wait. Okay? And she can't say, "Boy, I'm tired. Me just come from work. Me just do a 12-hour shift and me tired. Call another midwife." No, she have to do it. And she have to take her tired, exhausted self and deliver the baby and make sure the baby deliver healthy. And she not make no mistake. Because trust me, if she make mistake, she gonna get blamed for it. You understand? So I understand what the nurses have to go through. Okay? Teachers, hats off to them. They do an excellent job. Them take them work home with them. Sometimes you see teachers that come home, them have these long, big pile boxes of stuff they have to mark. They have to take their work home with them. most people them lock the office or them walk out of the office. When I used to work in the banking sector, when I walk out, I just walk out my office and all my filing stuff is filed away in the different cabinets or my drawer, my desk. And I walk out. I just come out of my office with my tool and on. I come back in the next day when I'm in my office, switch on air conditioner and I'm back at work again. Teachers now do that. Teachers that take home a whole heap of boxes, all of the back seat of them car, if them even drive car, some of them, full up a whole heap of box and bag and pan with stuff that they have to mark for different students. So there's that situation. So between the firemen, the nurses, these people work extremely hard. They more than earn their money, bro. They more than earn their money. These are national heroes in them should have been the one pon the money. Now all of them corrupt politicians never miss upon the money. Yes, I said it. Pure corrupt politicians miss upon the money on both sides of the party. Maybe there's only one man out of all the politicians, I'm not going to call him name, who, as far as I am concerned, was really about Jamaica and Jamaican people and Jamaican working class poor people. Yeah, him are the only one. Apart from him and Marcus Garvey, the rest of them not have no reason or anyway me see them earn them right for the money. The money useless anyway, not worth shit. Anyway, I might have to bleep that bit up. I got carried away. So, these teachers, nurses, and firemen are national heroes. They're the ones that should be on the money. The other thing is, I think teachers, nurses, and firemen, when you come together and form one big unit. Get the unions to come together as well and form one big unit. So all I want to do it together. That's what they did in the UK 4 months ago and they were successful. You guys need to do that. This separate thing now go work. All down or join together and amalgamate your forces and your departments and your resources as one. Aggregate everything together and hold on a march. That's what I'm saying. Some people say, well, the firemen and the and the ambulance and paramedics and so on can't strike because of emergency service. Yes, you can. That's nonsense. The way that work is, obviously, if a paramedic or an ambulance driver or a nurse upon strike, or a fireman upon strike and them a protest, if an emergency call come in, of course he's going to break ranks from the protest and go answer the call. Obviously, that not take rocket science to figure out. Not because him a protest means him go say, well, me a protest, make the building burn down and people can burn up in the fire. That's nonsense. He's gonna say, listen, everybody in the protest line I go understand, say, yo, emergency call coming, fireman break ranks, jump 9 fire brigade and him gone. Yeah, you can also organize it where one team of firemen up and stand by at the fire station and few of them out in the protest and represent them the fire brigade. You understand me? The firemen them. But obviously if they're needed, they can go. The same thing with the paramedics, the same thing with the ambulance drivers, the same thing even with the nurses them. If an emergency come in and them say, listen, the ward short of nurses and we need nurses and blah blah blah. The nurses them now go say, boy, me busy right now, so that the man who just get stabbed up or shot up or that baby who are just a born, they might go wait. No, they're gonna answer the call. So let's not just be stupid. That's number one. Number two, the these different groups that are protesting, involve your family. As you can see in the clips, involve your family, involve your friends. Bring them all to the protest. Not just, when I looked at the one with the teachers recently, it was pure scanty teachers out there. Some of them was even protesting inside the classroom. And I was sitting there like, how is this going to be effective? All due respect to them. They're doing what they can do with what they have. But it just appeared to me like them not want to go out in the sun hat in a public. Them want to stay in the cool shade inside of the classroom in front of one camera and protest. How many people you going to reach with that, brother? That not going to work. You need to go out in the sun hat. You need to contact the other schools. There's so many high schools in Jamaica. Contact the other high schools. Contact the other secondary schools. Contact the other junior schools. Everybody come together from all the schools, all over in the country. Make the trip and go to Kingston because that's where the government building is, unfortunately. So we have to make the trip. If you don't want to fight for something, you have to make the sacrifice. And that's what that is. Get another teacher for put you up for a 1 week, bunk it, get a earbed, get a little mat, whatever, make it work. And sleep on the floor with some little stuff on the floor, just for 1 night, bunk sitting on the couch and the whatever, for the 1 night, while you're not protest. If the protest are go for 3 days, you might can come down and lend your hand for a little 1 day. So involve your friends, involve your family, bring them down to the marches and protests with you. get the public on your side, get all the different government departments to amalgamate with all the different unions and all now have one voice. As you can see in the video, that's what they did effectively. So that's that. The other last point I want to make is I noticed that a lot of these politicians, and as I say, I've got 2 family members that got PhD in economics, and another one that's just finished their degree in economics, and they're in the middle of doing their their masters. And I've overheard conversations where they're debating with these politicians who are saying, oh, we don't want to increase wages for workers, because if you do that, it's inflation busting, and it will make inflation rise and make inflation go up. And from what I understand, that's nonsense, okay? Because if that was true, then why are these politicians awarding themselves these massive, huge salary hikes? Wouldn't that have an effect on inflation then, if that's the case? So, okay, so the working poor with the poverty wages will not justify if you get them. It's alright for them to get that when them can't even afford to buy bread and milk. But for uno can raise for one up to 200 and 300%. But that now go affect inflation. Oh really? You really take Jamaican people for fool. You know what's the major contributor to inflation? From what I understand, the petroleum industry. Not wage increase. It's a stop tell lie. That's only one factor. I'm not saying the petroleum industry is the major one of the major contributors to inflation, but it's not the only contributor to inflation, but it's one of the major contributors to inflation, as I understand it. Stand corrected if I'm wrong, but as me and you the expert, them a debate about themselves when I say. So this argument about we don't want to increase wages because it's inflation busting, it took an increase increase inflation. That's not 100% true. There's a level of truth in it, but like politicians normally do, them give you 0.25% of the truth, and the other 75% them tell you, which is not so true. And that's my opinion on that. Until next time, keep it locked, stay cool.